Hi guys, my name's Elisa and welcome to this playthrough of the island on Ark Survival Evolved. We started on East Zone 3 and the first thing that we need to do is start to get some of those resources going, so as always we're going to punch some trees. Just having a look around here to see if there's anything that's going to come and try and munch us later, or any interesting resources around that could help us on this journey on day one. And as always, there's quite a grind to start with, so we'll speed that up. You don't need to watch all of it, all that tedious, just to get some tools. We'll get into it, eh? So as I was having a look at engrams and gathering some resources, I spotted this little dilo under the corner of my eye, and unfortunately for him, he's quite a nice source of some early game hide, which is always welcome. And we're going to get building our first little shack and cooking up some meat to try and make sure we don't die of starvation. And I completely failed to see that RG. I tried to get it onto the Pteranodon, as you can see. I really thought I'd got rid of it, unfortunately. It would come back to haunt me. And this would not be the first time in these first couple of days where this RG would try and make me into a tasty little morsel. We'll continue crafting and getting this tiny little bob hut up and running so we can get some stuff made, get some tools sorted, some storage down, try and get a good start into this run through. And of course we needed more wood and needed more thatch, so we harvested this and that and another one and some fibre. Berries are always welcome too. And more fibre. And unfortunately for the dodo, it's made out of tasty meat. And this trilobite wandered a bit close, so Early game Kaiden, also not going to complain. So we've got the difficulty turned way up, and I was really surprised that this happened. I don't think I've ever come across a Pegamastix that didn't tame immediately as soon as it steals that first slot of berries, but this one was stubborn apparently. I was quite confused at this point as to what the heck was going on. And it's tamed. First tame of the season. A little hut is probably going to be pretty ramshackle for the first little while. Bits of this and bits of that, but it'll get upgraded slowly, become better and better as we go. And this poor Moschops is also a good amount of hide for early game. Sorry, buddy. We do have the difficulty turned right up, so the levels on a lot of these dinos is quite high, which is intimidating, but at the same time they give fairly good yields, which I didn't realise was going to be a thing, but was a happy surprise. Getting some crafting tools down and sorted so we can start making metal and narcotic is the most important things at this point in time. Another Dilo wandered just that little bit too close. And I found that those little rocks had quite a bit of metal on them. They're a good source on the beach. So we harvested up goodness knows how many of them, so we can get some metal smelting and hopefully start to get some metal tools on the go. be good to finally be able to preserve some of that food that I've been cooking up as well. And it was at this moment that I completely forgot that Argies can't be polared, so that plan's not going to work. I did realise not long afterwards. And finally our first metal tool we've got to pick. I knew I was in trouble as soon as I heard that Argie land. It sounded really close. And sure enough, it really decided that it did not like us. Over the next, what felt like an eternity, I genuinely thought I was going to die. Silly me, thought I had enough time to do some crafting and get prepared, but the Argie had better ideas. I wanted to try and lead it away from the base. It didn't seem to want to cooperate. Not for very long, at least. Had to get away because this thing was definitely going to kill me. Can't stand the water long though, and that ice cube is also going to kill me. I guess it decided this was its beach and it didn't like me building there. And it's dead. How good. The build continued on until the house was done. But it was at this point where I learnt for the first time ever that if you offset ceilings, you can't put walls where you want them. The ceiling's on last if you're going to offset. Repairing my stuff. damaged thanks to that RG. After the RG attack, I figured I kind of had to get things into stone, otherwise I was going to be screwed down here. I also learnt that you can't even replace walls if the ceilings are offset. I really wish I'd known that earlier. Decided at this point any flyer was better than no flyer, so even though this PT is only level 4, I figured I'd give a go at taming it, see if it's okay. And finally we're getting our base to the point of being 100% stone, keeping us a little bit safer if anything else decides that it wants to have us for lunch. I gave our little PT friend a saddle and headed off to Hidden Lake to clear out whatever needed to be cleared out. We killed this Alpha Raptor, and the Sarco and Raptor seem to want to work together. And this Alpha Raptor, there was also there. Actually impressed at how well the PT did against these things. And a handful of Dilos. Decided to stop and get this red drop at Kano Island, playing chicken with these two Rexes who thought I'd be lunch, but managed to get away. Their raw stealth made me jump, that was certain. Put down some bigger storage so I could get rid of this box because it was genuinely really in my way. Somehow, also, I managed to lose the footage of taming these Lystros. But we got 2 Lystros, so we can get some level ups on our tames. And I started to craft what we would need to move to Hidden Lake. We'll leave this base behind even though we've literally just finished it. Hidden Lake will be a good little spot for us. I did have a design in mind on what I wanted the base to look like, and I tried to make everything that I could think of that we would need as soon as we got there. we got into putting some gates up to try and stop any wanderers coming in. Give us at least a semblance of safety while we start to set up the base. It'll also help while we're living here to have a little bit of buffer between us and anything in the wilds. I got the gates up, and then as I was flying around to the next location, I spotted this raptor who couldn't stay. I was actually surprised at how much harder it was to get these gates where I wanted them. I didn't anticipate that. It is my first time building here. And I realised pretty quickly after seeing that trike just jump over my gates that these weren't going to do long term. I also had to fix these wonky ones that I put in, and they didn't work where I put them. So I had to replace them. We got this nice little red drop, not going to complain. And then round out of stamina, right in front of a pair of Rexes. Got a nice purple drop. And another purple drop. Stops with some crystal to make ourselves a nice little scope. At least then I'll know what I'm dealing with without having to get too close. This yellow drop, again on Kano Island. Headed home, made ourselves up that scope, and called it a night. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this sort of content.